Good morning, everyone. Hope you're getting off to a wonderful day. Let's see, it is day 5. It's Tuesday. I worked on the lips a little bit last night. I only had a small or a short session in the morning before work, but I got up a little earlier today, so hopefully we'll get a little more time. When I went to bed, I was thinking that the line of her forehead was a little weird. Not weird, but not quite right. Just trying to find things that they're missing with her likeness. It's a little weird because she's got a little tilt from the reference image. Let me tilt her back on my iPad and see if that helps. She's definitely tilted more forward in my painting than in her picture. It was pretty good, but I made that line right there I need to fix. What else? Yeah, I was just thinking last night that she had more forehead showing up here, but maybe not. This curve goes back a little bit, or maybe. I don't like what I did about making this line so hard. Just trying to think of things to fix. It's getting close to calling this thing done. So it's 6:18 today. We'll go to 7 o'clock. Got a busy work day. Well, I guess let's get started. We'll fix this lip, this little line. I don't know how I did that last night. But let me fix the reference image. And I guess some things that are jumping out at me. Oops. Dropping my brushes. I guess the line of the chin, maybe? Or the shadow on the chin. Measure a bit. It's not terrible. Maybe we'll do. Remember last time we kind of made a kind of a hue that's in between the red of her cheek and the dark of the shadow. Maybe we'll do something here to work on that line a little bit. And then I know you guys can't see it. The image is the painting is so bright for you. But I definitely can make some lighter lights. So like in the reference image, this little peak above her head is pretty light. This is light. This is light. Down on her nose I think is okay. I did a little bit with her lips. Not sure how I feel about that. There's a little kind of a horseshoe on her chin here. I don't know where that come from. Must be something on my brush. She's also got this little, right here, there's a little smile line. Which actually would push this back a little bit. So we push this back. I didn't do my thing that I usually do, which is measure a little bit before I start the recording, but I've got this painting station set up downstairs, and I have to walk my dog probably 4 or 5 times a day. And every time I come in and out of the house, I look over at this painting and I'm trying to figure out things that I could fix. And then probably the biggest one is her nose looks like, I mean, the end of her nose is right at her tear duct. So this line right here, I need to make it a little more pronounced because it makes it look like the wing of her nose is all the way out to here instead of here. This is just a shadow. This is actually the wing of her nose. So I need to make that a little more pronounced. Let's see if we can fix that. We probably don't need it up top so much, but my paint's getting all hard. Oop. A little crazy there. I don't mind that. So I was thinking about so I'm gonna do a live stream every day for as long as I can. But I'm just trying to think of some content that I could make. In addition to that, I posted a video the other day of how I use Capture One to with my photography. Excuse me. You know, I was trying to think of some things that I can make for painting that might be fun for me and maybe beneficial to new painters. I've only been painting portraits for a few years, but I've been painting for over 10 years now. And even though I'm not really an expert at any of it, there's definitely some things I wish I knew 10 years ago that I know now. So I was thinking things like color mixing, maybe make a video for color mixing. I also, every year in springtime, I host a beginning plein air workshop for a few hours. And it's a little bit of the same stuff. It's color mixing and it's why I choose the palette that I use. I'm drinking my coffee. You know, basically just basics. You know, things that I wish I knew when I started painting. I go through gear a little bit. Brushes. Surfaces. Things like that. We're going to fix that lip too. I guess I got a little bit of a blind spot to it. Values, that's definitely something that I want to discuss. So I host probably less than I used to. I used to host a plein air event. Both a plein air event. There was a couple years where I was doing a plein air event every Saturday, and I was doing a portraiture painting event every Wednesday night. And there's kind of a bell curve for all those events. There's, you know, the regulars who are there every week. There's some folks that you see often that kind of make up the center of the bell curve, but aren't quite there every week. And then there's always a group of new people. Let me say that again. It's hard to talk and do these delicate spots. That darker line go all the way up. put this here. Yeah, that might be better than having to fix that painting every day. Where I was going with this is actually the bell curve is a little different. It's beginners, people that have been painting a while, and then there's, you know, people that got it figured out, the art teachers and things like that. And there's definitely some things in common with the beginners, myself included, like the values. They all seem to paint too light, like they're afraid to go dark. Like even looking back at my old paintings, I say that I didn't get it until I took a workshop with Casey Bow, and he just went in so dark, so fast. Like he's kind of one of those artists. He's like a Richard Schmid school of artist. And same with Kylon Q. They went in so fast, like no drawing at all, no sketch. They just go in with a big fat brush and just start painting big shapes. But in addition to that, they went in with full value. Like they start with kind of the darks, and they literally go dark right off the bat. And they kind of key in their darks as a first step. And I didn't really get it until I'd taken a workshop from Kylon Q years earlier than Casey. And I don't think I had enough experience yet when I took Kai's workshop. But I didn't really get it until I took Casey Bow's workshop. I think it was even probably 3 years ago now. You know what? Timing's weird for me. It was actually before COVID, so quite a while ago now that I think about it. But I don't think I really got values until Casey's workshop. And now if I look at my paintings, like even my plein air, I go right in with the darks immediately. And like, I guess I'll show you. I do like that idea. I think I am going to do some instructional videos. I've got some time off coming up for Thanksgiving. And I'll try to do at least one. But yeah, just to finish that thought, I think I'd like to do that. Not just because I think there's certainly enough instructional painting videos out there, and the world probably doesn't need another one of mine, or need mine. But there's also a lot of crappy paintings of pretty girls out there, and I don't do it because the world needs more of them. I do it because I enjoy it. And I think that would be the same with doing something instructional. because I think I would enjoy it. I know I enjoy the workshops, the plein air beginning workshops that I do each spring. All right, I said I wanted to work on the chin too. Let's see, time check, it's 6:30. We've got about 25 minutes left. Yeah, gear. I could do a whole video on gear. Working in tech, I've been obsessed with all gear, photography gear, painting gear. I could definitely do a video on gear. What reminded me of that is these brushes. This Dugato, you could get them on Amazon. I think it's like $10 for like 40 brushes. And as cheap as they are, I always find them in my hand. This is a kind of a soft synthetic. You can't really see the number, I don't think, but it's a number 8 filbert. They just always end up in my hand. And I think I was saying in a video ago that pretty much tried every brush there is, from the expensive ones to the cheapies, and these are the cheapest ones that I have. And like I said, they just keep ending up in my hand. I guess I'm blending a little bit. Let's see. I think I said I was going to work on that chin. Let's do that. Let's get some paint down here. So I usually replace my paints more often than this. It's usually a good time for me to simultaneously examine my painting and come up with kind of a mental list of what I need to work on. But with only having a little bit of time before work, I've been skipping that to get right into painting. And so now a lot of my paint piles are dried up and crusty. So this line right here is a no-go. A little too light there. I think there's something wrong with that line too. I do have her tilted more forward, but these lines almost meet. Like this needs to come back, and then down, back, and then down, with a darker color at least. Yeah, the stupid brush. Maybe go darker. More blue. Yeah, see, this brush is going in the trash. It's brand new, but it like splays out too much. So I'm gonna put that up here. Put this up here. Clean that off a little bit. This is a little harder to talk in paint because I guess this phase I'm concentrating a little bit more. Well, it's also 7:40 in the morning or 6:40 in the morning. Not usually a time of day when I'm doing a lot of talking. I need to practice that a bit. I like that brush, but probably not the right one for this. It's always weird when you want to go lighter, but for some reason, the paint comes out darker. Again, just kind of bopping around. Oh, I did say I was going to try to do something with that transition. Let's see what we can do. So what I'd like to do is get a color that's kind of in between these two. Yeah. I think what I need to start doing too, so my paint, 24 hours isn't quite enough time to let the paint dry. So I'm kind of struggling with, if my paint was totally dry, I could just oil out. Let's see, how do I start this? My brush is dragging in the kind of not totally dry, not totally wet paint, and it's making kind of weird marks in it, and it's because the surface is still kind of sticky because the paint never totally dries. But it's not also not totally wet either. So my paint kind of drags in it. I guess it's also a factor of me not having enough paint on my brush. Gotta get my head over. That's just a little too much paint. I want to use blue for the highlights. The problem with blue is get too much blue in there, it makes a lady's hair look gray. I guess it makes everyone's hair look gray. Usually not that big of a deal for a guy, but if you can help it, you don't want to make a lady's hair gray if it's not gray. Time check. Ooh, it's almost 7 o'clock. Let's see what we can do with my new favorite brush. The goal isn't to recreate every hair, but to just kind of hint at it. You don't need a lot. It's kind of a trip how your mind doesn't need a lot of help. You just need to suggest it, a highlight, and your mind kind of does the rest. Alexa, turn off the alarm. Oh, it's nice not having to yell at my Alexa. All right. So I do want to get some blue in her hair up towards the top. It's kind of blue and white. Let's see. Running into that thing still where my brush is dragging a little bit. All right. And then what we'll do is we'll just fix this background just a little bit. And I think that'll be the goal for the next session, is to fix that background. Just grab some of my medium and just kind of blend this out for now. We may cut her hair in a little bit with the background, but for now let's just flatten it. All right, maybe one more good long session and we'll call this one done. I've got some ideas about what I want to paint next. I think what I'm going to do, I mentioned that country series that I did for photography. So I've got Anna and 4 of her friends that I made a photo book with. Actually, in the video section, I do kind of a, I share that photo book with you all. But I've got such wonderful portraits of all 5 of these young ladies that I think I'd like to paint a portrait of all 5 of them. And that kind of would tie together tie together my photography with my portraiture, and then close out this whole country series. Although this, obviously, you can't tell that this is a country themed portrait, but this was a portrait taken from one of my country themed shoots. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I definitely have favorite portraits of each of these 5 girls. So I think what we'll do next is jump into one of those. I have one of Elsie, who you'll meet, or who you know from me sharing the photo book. I think that's the one I want to do next. The problem is it's in a landscape layout, the one that I have in mind. And I'm not quite set up on this easel for a landscape painting. But that's the one I want to do, so I'll see if I can figure out how to make it work. Alright, I think I'm packed up. So I don't clean up my paints every session, but I clean off this board because the paint is so thin in 24 hours it will dry if I don't scrape it off. It's not so dry that it's hard to scrape off, but I'd still rather not scrape it off if I don't have to. Alright folks, well thank you, have a wonderful day. It's 7:05, time to get in the shower and get to work. So we'll see you soon, for sure by tomorrow. Bye.